and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time!
Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going!
I call you, I need you, my heart's on fire.
Mullins opens up again, oh look at him go! He beats O'Davis on the outside!
Come to me, wild and wide.
Toys, goes for the corner!
You come to me, give me everything I need.
Got it away from Robertson, he got it back for the lead! Menzies has scored! Menzies is over the line!
Hey everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Rugby League Project. I've got my good mate here, Luke Cook. Luke, how are you?
Hello, mates. Good
Nice
to see you. Thanks
Good
for
to
inviting
see
me.
you. My pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming on. Before we proceed, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, mate. My name's Luke. I'm the founder of a new tech startup called FunLocker. We're an experience platform. So getting up close with talent and all that type of stuff is all part of our game. I'm 38 years old.
38 years young.
38 years old. I feel old. The wrinkles around the eyes say so. Parramatta fan. Grew up in Western Sydney. And that's me.
That's you. So, I mean, just before I've got heaps to talk about with you in regards to footy. Just a quick agenda.
No grand final wins though, unfortunately.
No, well, it's appearances, you know.
We made a couple.
In
Yeah,
your
we made a
lifetime.
couple.
Have you been alive since they've won?
Mate, I was 5 years old in '86 when our last grand final was, and now I'm 38, so 33 years.
Hey, a lot of Para fans haven't even been alive that I know to see their team win a GA.
But I don't remember it, mate. Like, I was
yeah,
5 years old.
I suppose, yeah, you can't. It's like the '96 Manly grand final. I don't remember crap all, but like, I know that we said that we would go the next year, and we all know what happened. Darren Albert, motherfucker. Anyway, let's move on. Past that. Let's move on. Today's agenda. We obviously got a guest on the show, Luke. The spotlight moment. We'll just touch real quickly on Nathan Blacklock's chip. That he did over Joel Caine to basically secure himself a New South Wales jersey. The hot topic that I'd like to discuss is apparently Gus Gould having made a handshake agreement with Wayne Bennett before they sort of made a deal with Ivan Cleary.
It's all gone down really big this week, hasn't it?
It has. It's exploded.
Big game this tonight, isn't it?
Massive game. Absolute massive. Like, probably not in the context of the season, but for what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a turning point for both clubs. But yeah, that kind of surprised me. And I mean, it would have had a massive domino effect. If Wayne went to Penrith, then what would have happened to Seabold and Maguire and all those coaches?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The whole rugby league game is a massive domino effect. It
takes just one little moment, right, to change everything.
Well, now Valentine Holmes as well. Could be going to the Cowboys.
So that's a big thing. I mean, let's talk about that. So, like, people say, the media is saying, look, if he doesn't make I think the combine, whatever they call it.
Yeah, whatever the thing is.
Then he's going to come back. But why would you go over there 6 months, work your ass off, maybe just miss out, and then give up?
It's just one of those things, mate. It's like following a vision, right? Like, if you've got that vision, you've got to see it through.
Yeah, absolutely.
The unfortunate thing is Cronulla's lost a really good player.
Yeah.
And he could end up going to the Cowboys if he does come back. So it's
They've made a clause, Cronulla. To say that if he comes back, he has to play with Cronulla, kind of like what Parramatta tried to do with Hayne.
Yeah, but that didn't work out either.
Exactly, I don't think it. I don't think,
What a contracts do.
We all know what happened there, mate. First thing I'd like to know is sort of how long you've been a fan for rugby league for. What your first memory is of the game, and I don't need to ask you who you support.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of a history.
Yeah, mate, I've always been a rugby league fan. My mum and dad were Parramatta supporters, so like follow that natural progression of becoming a Parramatta fan. I still hold it against mum a fair bit, actually.
You're watching this, Mrs. Cook?
Yeah, could have been a Roosters fan and handed me some brown paper bags, but always been a Parramatta fan. Was very involved with the Eels. I just loved them. My dad passed away when I was younger, and Mum carried the Parramatta flag for me. She always bought a membership. We went every single year. And it's just one of those sort of things that I really did cherish with Mum in particular. And just loved going to the footy. We used to go there for all 3 grades. Used to go to the auditorium afterwards to meet the players.
Wow.
I used to sit in there with my Parramatta Eels book and get signatures.
Wow, okay.
Mum even bought a testimonial port from Peter Sterling once, where we went down to the local bottler. I was only like 5. I didn't drink the drink, by the way. But,
we'll that.
but then but I remember going to him with the Peter Sterling port and his testimonial port and getting it signed by him.
Wow.
And, both the bottles. So it's all like those little moments that I really remember. In particular, and like I wasn't even thinking about that when I came in, but just starting to talk about the Eels, you just start to remember those moments.
All those
moments.
moments.
So never played league as a kid. I went to a couple of trial. I was always a soccer boy.
Right.
Footy boy.
That's 2 of us, actually.
Yeah, and went and did a couple of trials with a couple of little things because I thought I'd want to get into rugby league, but it's never panned out.
Well, mate, I didn't know about your dad, so I'm sorry to hear about that.
That's a long time ago too.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a pretty shocking
Parramatta
thing.
won a grand final in between them.
Oh, really?
That's like a
Silver lining. You don't want to say it, but there's a silver lining. Mate, I actually also didn't even realise you were such a tragic growing up, you know, like going to all 3 games. I know like some fans are kind of borderline and bandwagon when their team's winning.
Yeah.
They support their team.
I used to love going there and watching I can't remember what it was called back then, but I used
Jersey
to love
flag, was
it?
it?
It was even before that, man, in all honesty. I used to love seeing the players go through. And
Yeah.
I remember one time there was a TV game, and we'll get up to this question in a second, but I had a Brett Kenny flag.
Right.
And I was waving the Brett Kenny flag and got on TV. And
Spotlight moment.
moment as a kid. Featured in Big League magazine in one of those sort of centerfolds once in Parramatta. Yeah, no, man, I'm a tragic.
That's good.
I'm a tragic.
Are you a member of?
I'm not at the moment.
This year?
No, and it's probably actually a good little talking point because, you know, like I've got a lot of other things going on in my world. Just had a little baby, and the business is obviously very full on. Yep. So, you know, trying to find the time to go to games on a regular basis. A membership is not...
It's not easy.
No. So I cherry pick games where I can.
Yeah.
I've been to... been to 2 games already. No, 1 game, 2 games already this year. I'm not a full membership, but do follow.
You went to the Penrith game?
Went to the Penrith game, yeah.
And the Roosters or the Dogs?
I went to the Dogs game.
Oh, mate, so 2 from 2 you are.
Yeah, so I should have gone to the Roosters game last week.
Lucky charm, mate. Well, why are you stopping? Why aren't you going?
No, I'm going this week. I'm going to the Sharkies. So
we'll talk about that. That's going to be a big one. I mean, actually, before I ask the next question, in terms of being a member, do they not offer memberships that are for like 2 games, 3 games? Is that not?
Yeah, but it's a membership where, like, yes, you're giving back to the club. So yeah, it does show that you're a fan, and I totally respect that. But I just don't want to be.
You like to cherry pick.
I like to cherry pick, and you know, like a lot of people in our demographic, like we just. I'm probably just talking about me, but I don't necessarily think too far ahead.
Yeah, right.
So you know, it's usually
plan as you go.
Yeah, plan as you go. I'm planning week by week. So
it's important to talk about. That's the whole purpose of this show, right? Because I mean, 2 episodes in, it's hard to gauge a lot of perspective. But you know, I'm thinking 50, 100 episodes time, when I've got people like yourself talking about this, it'll provide a greater perspective as to sort of people's mindset behind buying a membership or cherry picking games. So it's really cool to know.
Well, it's like, because I work within the rugby league circles in uploading experiences into our business fun locker, and you know, memberships is such an important role for a club.
Absolutely.
And you know, they've got a challenge, and it's going to be a continued challenge as the next generation comes through, and they're gonna have to really think about how they grow the game, especially within memberships, and making that on-day experience so good that people want to go there and not watch it.
Which is what you're helping with.
Well, a bit, but definitely not the silver bullet.
Yeah.
The clubs in general need to really probably think about what they're doing and how they're growing their membership pie.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's a big thing that clubs have to consider. What is your favourite, or I guess most memorable footy moment? Is that the Brett Kenny?
No. As any Parramatta fan, that 2009.
Yeah.
The wins.
Jared Haynes.
It was just epic. Like that period where we started off the year not too good, and then, you know, we just won pretty much every game until that St. George first semi, and then got them back. No, sorry, the St George game before the final series, and then during that final series was just something that I just could never forget. Even though we lost to Melbourne in the grand final, even on that grand final day, we tried our hardest and
22-18, I think.
Yeah, and we came back, and it was like one of those moments. The Fui Moi try in the corner was
73rd minute. That was epic.
The crowd. I almost fainted, I think, at that time. But you know, I could never look past that. Even though we didn't win, it was just like one of those years that it was just like phenomenal.
Talking to you, I'm sort of regretting it now because like I do hate Para.
I don't like Manly, mate. So whatever.
But in all honesty, it's like even though you grow to hate these clubs, when I wanted Para to win that grand final.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
I'm not just saying that because I think rugby league is healthy when teams like South Sydney, when Parramatta are actually doing well, and it's quite evident as well.
Yeah.
I mean that the prelim before that grand final, I believe, was like 70,000.
Yeah, it was against the Dogs.
That's the highest prelim that we've ever had in terms of attendance. And yeah, like I think a lot of Manly fans would be like, "Why are you saying you wish?" I mean, hate Melbourne, right?
Yeah, but you hate the Bulldogs as well, so you had no chance.
It's all I was just like almost not even going to watch the game, but the way they came back, and obviously Para beat the Dragons, which effectively kicked Manly out. That's why I remember it so much. Because Manly.
Sorry about that, bro.
You should be. Garrett Haynes should be, but he was on fire.
That try against the Dragons in that final series.
He was untouchable that year. I mean, he won the Dally M. Yeah. So and then Fui's try in the corner.
Yeah.
And you hear Sterlo's like, "Oh, he's got it down. He's got the ball down." And you know, from there you're like, it's a formality there. They come back and win it. And I wish they did, but it didn't happen.
No.
But it's a good memory.
Oh, it's a great memory. Best memory.
What team do you usually enjoy sort of coming up against?
Mate, from a banter perspective with my mates, Penrith.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've got a few Penrith
Battle
fans.
of the West.
Yeah, and it's just like one of those things, like that Panthers game that we went to, my mate was there next to me, it was a good game.
Yeah.
Obviously we won. But there's been many a time where it's been on the flip side. I try and play calm and try and always say, great game, I don't usually bag out. My mates, I'm actually pretty good at that.
It's on camera now, mate.
No, it's fine. Nathan, comment. I don't care. But yeah, I always look forward to. I just love seeing Parramatta play. Like, Manly is one of the ones where I'd love to beat Manly.
Yeah, I think everyone loves to beat Manly.
Yeah. Bulldogs previously, Bulldogs of now, not really.
Yeah.
But Bulldogs was always a game that I used to get excited by. Recent years, the likes of Melbourne in particular, which probably leads to the next question. But
the team you hate?
No, the person. Billy Slater.
Oh, really?
Hated him.
Really?
Because he was so bloody good.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's not. There was those little moments that he,
that he did.
Like
he headbutted Hayne, right?
No, Hayne headbutted him. So
right.
But that's all right. But that's because it's Billy Slater.
Billy got in the way of Hayne's head.
No,
let's put it that way.
And it was just like it was just one of those sort of para crowd moments as well. Whenever Billy Slater played, whenever he touched the ball, he was always booed.
Yeah.
Billy's a wanker. Always started up every single time.
It's just the way it is.
Standard.
Yeah.
Billy Slater, but mainly because he was just so good, untouchable.
Yeah.
Right now, there's no really one that I gravitate to. I love the State of Origin series. That usually peps up someone else that I don't like.
Yep.
But day-to-day club stuff, Ennis was another one that was a grub, but...
Oh. We won't... I could be here all day talking about players that we have. Do you think Billy will be an immortal?
He's got every right to be an immortal.
Yeah.
He's the best ever fullback that I've seen, I reckon. It's hard to become an immortal.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple of people in front of him.
Yeah.
A couple right now that are still playing, I think. Cameron Smith and Cooper.
Yeah.
Cooper and Billy, I think, are pretty even. But yeah, this whole Melbourne side over the last few years have probably 3 immortals in it.
Absolutely. What grounds did you love watching footy at?
I still love Leichhardt Oval.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite grounds. I've got a soft spot for the Tigers. I think they're like my sort of second team as such. Not that I have a second team, but
that's on record.
No, I like the Tigers, but it was more. I grew up in I spent most of my adult years in the inner west, so I went to a few Tigers games. But it's more the Leichhardt Oval mentality.
Yeah.
You create a day out of it. You go to the local pubs and with your mates, you build up. You walk to the ground. You stand on the hill. It's still that moment where you just you get involved.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sort of saying about league right now. there's no involvement besides the game itself if you're going to the game.
It's like less culture, right?
There's no culture. Like you look at what the NFL does over there with their tailgates, like with the cars out in the car park. They've got slow cooking food going on out there. They create a community environment.
Yeah.
Like it'll be interesting to see what they do with the new Bankwest Stadium, because I hear that the precinct out there can accommodate stuff like that.
Right.
But that's what will get people to the ground, I believe, is creating a little bit more culture and environment around the game day itself.
Who should the onus be on? Like the NRL, the club, or kind of both to sort of?
Oh, mate, in my eyes, it's a top-down driven thing. You can get clubs to trial it and do it, and then other clubs will catch on. It's pretty repetitive like that. But culture starts from the top. So what you're creating, and I don't mean just culture as an employee stuff, but I mean what you create starts from NRL head office, no matter which way you look at it.
Of course, right.
And so it's got to be, well, I believe it's got to be driven by the top down, and the clubs take the onus of the execution.
Yep.
Because you probably can bring in other sponsors doing that as well, right? You could bring in other partners that could help, bring that community aspect to life on game day.
I mean, I wonder why they don't put more emphasis.
Well, I think there's, it's very hard for certain grounds. Your ground, unfortunately, like there's not much space there to do that type of stuff. But with the new stadiums rolling out and new opportunities there, that should be a core part of their thought process.
Yeah, I think you need to have a chat to Todd Greenberg.
Yeah, mate, I'll give him a call after this.
Would you rather watch footy at the game or on TV?
Yeah, right now on TV.
Yeah.
I just don't think, I love going to the game, don't get me wrong, but I think what TV provides is that full circle of experience. Where you can hear, you can see, you can get involved. There is nothing better than being at the ground though, when the crowd is full. When there's heaps of people there. The stadium's full. Like we've been at ANZ Stadium for since this stadium's been built. You can't build atmosphere in that game. It's
terrible. When you're at the 70,000, person.
Oh no, fine. That's better.
Incredible.
That's better. But that's because the crowd and the community's all involved in the one time. If you got like 8,000 people at a stadium that holds 80, there's no atmosphere there.
I never really understood the mentality. I understand that suburban grounds, Brookie obviously is kind of on its last legs, but like Redfern and all these suburban grounds, like why would you not rather have 10 to 15 jam-packed into that sort of environment rather than 10, 15?
Yeah, but the stadium,
it's the state of the stadium, right?
Well, no, it's not. It's that, and plus bigger stadiums, like they pay a lot of money to get those clubs to go there, so the clubs actually get money for it.
That's very true. Yeah, you seem to forget about that. Yeah, money sort of drives.
Money drives everything.
It just makes the game look terrible though. When you're watching it on TV, and even when you're there. But you're not going to stop watching it though.
No, 100% not. No.
If you could pick any player to come play for your current team, who would it be and why?
I'd choose half the Roosters team. Who
pick
would I
one.
have? Who do I think we need? Parramatta needs a fair bit, but it's a tough one.
Anyway, think of like the top 5. Look, I'll throw a few at you, and a lot of.
Do we need a really good leader.
Okay.
And if I could, it would be someone around like a course the likes of Cameron Smith and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Someone who knows how to not only read the game but keep the team level. Now, whilst Parramatta has got some old heads there, they're not, and I wouldn't even classify them as influential heads in transparency. Like we've got one coming through, Clint Gutherson. I think he's a leader, but he's still very junior in his captaincy.
Yeah.
Tim Banner is always rock solid.
Yep.
But I wouldn't classify him up there as the same as like Cameron Smith, who's influential both on and off the field, and someone that you just want to galvanise and lead behind. And that's just my own honest opinion on that. I'm probably going to have Para fans yelling at me on that one.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think people like Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk, once in a generation type players, and you've got, mate, I rate Clint Gutherson very, very highly.
Clinton.
I think if Manly had their time over, they wouldn't have let him go.
No.
But in the same token, he can play anywhere. But I think a lot of his teammates, and that's probably why he's being handed the captaincy, because Brad Arthur knows what the rest of the team thinks about him, and he can lead by example, and they'll follow him.
Yeah.
And they also realise Tim Manor probably on his last legs.
Yeah.
So he's probably still
No.
vice captain, is he, or
Oh no, he's still got the C next to his name.
co-captain?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But yeah, I see what you're saying. So Cameron Smith would probably be.
I still think we
way.
just need an old head right now to
Yeah.
give Clint a little bit.
Yeah.
And someone who's led a team, led a country, led a state.
Yep.
Someone who's just proven. Boyd Cordner would be another one. I'd sort of say would be in that
Oh,
vicinity.
he's awesome too.
Yeah.
What are you loving about the game at the moment?
I loving the refereeing. I think
Yeah.
it's been a lot better.
Yeah.
Like last year with those penalties, it killed it. I think that had a lot to do with last year, and it was just penalties blown for every indiscretion, and it didn't let the game flow.
Yeah.
Right now, I think they're doing a better job, and I think that's proving. Last week I didn't really watch a lot of the games, so I'm not sure about last week's games, but I think that's been the biggest thing that I've enjoyed.
I'm the same as you, but like we kind of do this every year. We're like, oh, the game's good, and we have that middle patch where there's so many different indiscretions and issues, and then we all start complaining, and then rules get changed at the end of the year. If this penalty rate is still going good by say round 16,
Yeah.
then we can get excited.
Yeah.
Because I hate that. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
and
there's
it's-
always changes halfway through. Or something.
that's not even the referee's fault as well.
No.
Because they're just doing their job, sort of
100%.
thing.
It's the hardest job I reckon in the game. Isn't
Yeah,
it, for a reason?
absolutely. But I'm with you, mate. I'm loving the adjudicating and the less penalties. What about some things that I guess are pissing you off a little, if anything?
No, I don't. Nothing really pisses me off with the game. I don't like. I think a lot of the rules are good at the moment. I think even the reserves bench I think is good. Like how many people we've got on the interchange. I know they're tossing up about reducing that even to make it even more exciting. I just think it's the off-field stuff that's really ticking me
Yeah.
off, man. It's the constant reports about rugby league players and stuff like that. It's just damaging, and you hear the players say it themselves, right? Like they've come out and been honest, but you can't grow the game until you get that right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that. Rugby league has been like that probably since it started, right? And
Yeah. It's just there wasn't social media and all that type of stuff.
of course, to make
Yeah.
it more prominent. But also, it happens in every code, you know. And I mean, fair enough. They do. Some players taint the rugby league with one brush, like but they're not all like that. And even the players that misbehave, you know. And I feel like our game is really good at rehabilitation. Think about how many players. I mean,
Yeah, but it's been good from a rehabilitation
Yeah.
things, but it's been smashed that often that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter about the game bouncing back in its bubble.
Yeah.
It's how do you get more people into that bubble, and that bubble is every time that there's something that's happening, it's becoming harder for people to draw people in.
That's
'Cause
right.
mums and dads don't necessarily want their kids to be associated around it.
Yeah.
They've got a problem with that.
That's well. I mean,
And rugby league, I know, will cop it a lot more than other codes, even though that stuff probably happens in other codes.
yeah.
But it is what it is. It's like telling someone now that you shouldn't be on your phone as often, but this is technology. It's here with us. It's part of our daily lives.
Yep.
So the game has to adapt to that, and I don't know if it's becoming stricter, but it's got to be more education.
Well, I mean, if you put the right penalties in place, players will be less inclined to misbehave. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And look, at the same token, they're getting, you know, incredible money to play, to do something that they love, you'd think,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, the motivation should
They've also
be
got a
there.
lot of downtime too, I'd reckon. Wouldn't they?
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, they train, 7 days a week or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of that's recovery. But anyway, look, I mean, there are always going to be issues, but I mean, education is a big thing. And with women in rugby league now, I think is going to revolutionise and attract more people to the game.
Yeah, I
think.
agree too. It's good how both codes like NRL and AFL have really done that, because it will bring a new audience.
Yep, absolutely. What if you were Todd Greenberg? What would be the first thing you would sort of change, add, remove?
I'd get him to answer my Twitter comments sometimes if he'd like to. No,
Yeah.
joking. What I said at the start, I think the game's got a lot to do around bringing communities together on game day to make the game day better. Like that to me, I just see the game failing if we can't increase our crowds. We shouldn't be looking, and I know this is further questions, but we shouldn't be looking at anything else, whether it's relocation or adding new teams, until you get the current brand right. But you've got to have the right strategy in place to get that local environment happening with the clubs again, and getting people to go to the grounds and enjoying what they do.
Well, apparently the NRL made 50 mil surplus last year in profit, and I mean, I don't know this, but from what I've heard of the media talk about it, not much, if anything, went into grassroots rugby league or even country rugby league, which if you do that, if you invest in the game that way, kind of helps with what you're talking about. And a lot more fun. I mean, you know what? When a big memory that I had going to Brookie from the car park to the stadium, not a huge thing, but like you'd always, you get your fans, you're walking to the ground, like that experience alone, even when you sort of see rival fans and you have that banter. And there used to be like a guy making hot dogs, which I'm sure
we had heaps of those in Parramatta.
It's like hot dog. And it's like, it's just incredible, that experience. And I feel like more of that with maybe some music along the way, or food trucks or whatever, would be incredible. Even like, so you go to the grand final, and a big attraction to that is the pre-match entertainment. It's the games prior and the lead up. And I feel like, why can't more of that be done as well prior to games?
That is exactly what they do over the NFL with all the tailgates. Like, they create this little festival vibe. They've got like all these little wine festivals and beer festivals and all that type of stuff. It's like that. On steroids. It's next level. I went to an Austin, Texas game, the university, and the tailgate experience was even better than me being at the game, in full transparency. Like, it was just, I just went, wow.
I think the NRL probably scarred because they've never really been in a position, other than maybe the last 5-10 years, with money. The TV rights deal has really helped them explode. But I think maybe they're a little bit scared to spend money, but you have to spend money to make money. So, but I think it'll get better. Are you as much into the game now as you were 5 or 10 years ago?
No, nowhere near it.
Why not?
I think just different stage in my life.
Right.
In full transparency, there's other important things in my world versus footy.
Understandable.
And so it's probably got nothing to actually do with football. Okay. It's probably more just life moments.
Right, but I mean, you're still pretty...
I'll still watch every game, and my wife doesn't want to be in the same room as me when Parra's on the TV. Right. I haven't changed in that aspect, but
Okay. If expansion or relocation, let's discuss. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I said before, I don't think we can do either until you get the foundations right. I don't think the foundations are right to go. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one.
I agree. If you had to choose one or the other, would you rather expand to 18 teams, or would you rather relocate and keep 16 teams, but sort of relocate whoever and make it?
I don't think you relocate. I think if expansion happens, you might. I don't know. This is another one of those sort of ideas that have been bandied around creating like conference styles.
Yeah.
So you got conferences and you do that type of stuff, because I think if you go more. I like the conference style, because it feels like you're in this little community in the first line, and then you're waiting for the next community to come over, and then you play each other in the semis or finals. I think that's interesting. I like that sort of concept as maybe an evolution, but again, that's just me thinking. I haven't really had...
No, I actually really like that idea, and that's something that I was going to bring up in a future episode. But now that you're talking about it, I think the conference idea that you just mentioned, that model works so well in American sport, and a lot of what we do is kind of if not mirrored, then taken from what's happening over there. And I love that idea.
Clubs spend a lot of entertainment cash going over there and watching those NFL games.
Get it. If your team was forced to relocate to either Perth, Brisbane or Auckland, would you still follow them?
No, it's a tough one. Like, even if we had to merge with like the Tigers or Penrith, I probably would follow like a Western Sydney team, which is a big call, because you lose your identity.
But you just wouldn't be...
If you relocated me to another city, I would find it very hard to support league.
Yeah, understandable. I'm the same. Do you think Hindy deserved to win a premiership?
Of course he did. I love you, Hindy.
Hindmarsh, mate, at least one person thinks so.
Tag Hindy on this episode. I want to have a beer with him.
Yeah, he's a good bloke.
Of course he did. He was like, he was a legend of Parramatta.
Yeah.
Probably, the one that I remember now beyond my early childhood star, which was Brett Kenny. Like, I'd say those two were, were guys that I really, just loved in the game.
Yeah.
and really down to earth and good natured, and yeah, he deserved it. He probably deserved it a couple of more times. He probably deserved it in his first grand final back in when Newcastle beat us.
Yeah.
Like that one was just one of those years where we should have won it. No excuses, but we lost on the day to a better side. But yeah, like it was just one of those sort of moments that, you wish you would have went out, at least with one GF, but it happens to some of the best players in the game.
Yeah.
It's just pity our team was shit a lot of those years.
At least you're honest.
I'm honest.
It's 10 seconds to go in a grand final. Your team are 15 out, right in front. You're the dummy half.
Hindy, give it a hind.
Who do you pass
To the current
to
team?
for that clutch moment? Any player of your choosing. Like, it doesn't have to be a Parramatta.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it's just like it's your team, GF. 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd take it. I'd go for it myself.
Out of dummy half.
Out of dummy half, I'd step to the side, chip it over, fake pass out to Cameron Smith, think it's them, and then I'll just kick it.
I'll tell you who never misses, Adam Reynolds. I remember that 3 field goals against the Dragons last year.
No, I'd probably, someone cool, calm, JT.
Yeah.
Cooper.
He'd be right up there.
There's just, you couldn't really think of anyone else.
Okay.
Because you want someone there that's just got that, knows how to live that moment.
Loves the pressure.
Yeah.
I'd
fall over.
You'd fall over. Okay. Well, a few people have kicked it from dummy half. So, you might have even been in this situation before. Your best mate's getting married. You're his best man.
Yeah.
And his wedding falls on the Sunday of the GF.
Yeah.
It's the prelim finals. Your team goes through. What excuse do you give to your mate?
You couldn't give an excuse, but I wouldn't be there.
You wouldn't be. You wouldn't be at the wedding.
No,
or the GF?
I'd be at the. I'd be. Oh.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. What do you actually do? Because they come around once every 5 or 10 years. But your mate never gets married.
No, 33 years, mate. I'd go to the GF.
Oh, it's on record.
I'd conference in.
Oh,
I'd do my speech by this.
I'm so sorry if I'm ruining friendships right now.
Yeah, but 33 years to see a win. I couldn't do it.
You could probably do both.
I'd have a fight with my mate and he'd have to get rid of me from the bridal party so I wouldn't feel as bad.
Yeah, alright. So if you're out of the bridal party and you
I'd
go
get
to the
kicked
wedding,
out of the bridal party before then, probably at the Bucks party.
Leave the wedding at 6.
His wife would kick me out because of the Bucks party. And then I'd be safe from both because I'd still have a mate.
Yeah.
And I could still go to the GF, but she wouldn't want me in the bridal party.
Mate, they'd probably just get you on FaceTime the whole time anyway. So you kind of be there in spirit. So we've got a little segment called the Set of 6 quiz. I'm going to put Cookie to the test. You got 10 seconds to answer each, but that 10 seconds is going to be in my head anyway. So, okay, first question. And the winner, by the way, gets a $50 Rebel voucher. I'm going to do 10 contestants, and if there's a tie, they split the voucher. Let's sort that out at the end. First question. Name 5 players that featured in the Storm winning grand final side in 99.
In 99, Lazarus. Stephen Kearney, I thought he was back then.
Yep.
I thought 100% he was.
You got 5 seconds
Mark
to name 2 more.
No, Mark Guy wasn't. He never played for him. That's a tough question. I don't.
All right, let's cancel that out. You should know this. You should know this next one. What's the name of Nathan Hindmarsh's brother?
Ian.
Nice, well done. Who was the coach of Queensland's 1995 winning series?
Is that Fat Man?
Nice,
Man.
doing well. 9 teams began when the game launched in 1908.
Yeah.
Name 4 of those teams.
The East, Newtown, Norse,
3, 2,
Bunnies.
Yes, nice. Got it. You're on the board, mate. Who was Mario Fenech playing for when he copped that famous falcon?
Crushers.
Okay.
And Queensland Crushers.
And for a bonus point, who was it against? Never heard of them.
I've just got Gold Coast in my head for some reason. No?
Oh, I can't disclose that. I don't think you're right though. Last question. Who was the player that blindsided and knocked out Steve Price in that infamous incident up in Suncorp during Game 3 of the 09 Origin Series? Do you remember that?
Who knocked out Steve Price?
Yeah, he was having a biff. with, I think it was Brett White from the Storm, and then someone come and clotheslined him from the side. Who was that player? I'll give you a clue. He used to play for Penrith.
Yeah, Mark Guy.
No.
No.
It was 09.
For Mark Guy knocked out everyone.
5 seconds.
09.
2.
I got nothing.
1. Pretty sure that was Trent Waterhouse.
Oh, right.
Could be on record. Alright, that was the quiz. Do you remember, because I'm talking about this Nathan Blacklock, his chip over Joel Caine, he gets the ball, it's like a minute to go. Pretty sure it's Tigers versus Dragons, West Tigers versus Dragons. And I think it's the game before the New South Wales Origin team is announced.
Right.
And you just hear Warren Smith's commentary.
There wasn't much in it. It was a Craig Polamatta job from 1998 against the Eels. Here's Nathan Blacklock down the sideline, chipping over the top of Joel Caine. Got a rude service bounce to win the game for the Dragons and book himself a New South Wales Blues Origin jumper.
It was mainly Warren Smith's commentary that made it what it was.
Yeah, wow.
And it was just phenomenal. Did you remember much about Nathan Blacklock?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know Nathan Blacklock. I'm just struggle to remember that moment.
That moment. Loved a forward flip. Loved a.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did a back flip like Mundine. Yeah.
Forward flips are harder, aren't they?
They're like a back flip would be harder. Maybe.
When you're running.
Oh, when you're running, yeah, you got to unless you're Blake Ferguson, then you know how to do a black flip. I don't think Brad Arthur would like that. And yeah, Gus Gould, mate, he handshake agreement with Wayne Bennett, and then 2 days later he had to call Wayne Bennett and say, sorry mate, the deal's off the table. And then I think a week or two later they announced Cleary as their coach. And like, what if Wayne Bennett had gone to Penrith? Then Seabold would still be at South, and you would think that Maguire would go to Brisbane.
Yeah, you probably would.
Because
he would have been the next. Although they said like, what's his name? Kevin Walters was next in line there, so they probably would have stuck. I don't even know if they would have went with Maguire. I think Walters would have got the gig. Yeah, that's what I think would have happened if that chain effect.
I feel like my opinion on that is I feel like he might have gotten the gig already. I feel like he's being hard done by.
Yeah,
Kevin Walters,
and then
big time.
Then everything moved around, and it was interesting to see Bold go up there. Not much has come from it. So far, eh?
I'm actually pretty surprised at how Brisbane are going at the moment.
Yeah.
But at the same token, like I'm kind of not because their halves just I don't feel like
no. Yeah. Like the game the other night was they struggled. They really did. The Roosters were on fire. It seemed like everything they touched just seemed to come off.
Turn to gold.
But yeah, like the Broncos, they've got a bit to go, I think.
We've got some work to do. Mate, that's episode 2 wrapped up. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Go Eels.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 2, and until next time, enjoy your rugby league.